Look, the problem with announcing worthwhile policy at the beginning of an election campaign, a campaign that you're likely to lose, is it tends to give good ideas a bad name. In the first major new policy announcement of the British election over the weekend, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak committed his government to a form of national service. Now, let's be clear, citizenship, as Tony Abbott said today in media, it's a two-way street. We can't make demands of government without also being prepared to give back to the country that's given us so much. Expecting every school leaver to do something for others, either doing a year's worth of weekend volunteering in the community or, if they make the grade, serving in the military for 12 months, it's a good initiative. The pity is that it hasn't been done for decades. It's more than half a century since young Brits and young Australians, for that matter, were asked to do anything specific for their country, such as military service. In that time, there's no doubt we've become softer and more indulgent as societies, and the world's become more dangerous too. So some form of national service with a range of civilian options, well, that's clearly a step in the right direction. So better late than never, but if the UK government really believes in this, why hasn't it happened earlier during their 14-year term in office? I mean, Brexit aside, the charter schools policy too under David Cameron, this is a government that's been conservative in name only. It's been obsessive about net zero. It's pandered to trans rights until recently. It's been weak on borders and it's run down the armed forces. During the pandemic, like here in Victoria in particular, big spending anti-freedom party that revelled in lockdowns and control. So at 1 minute to midnight, the Conservatives now come up with a policy to win back the Conservative base, the base that's been drifting out to minor parties on the right, like Nigel Farage's reform mob in particular. Now, look, I hope it works, that electoral necessity forces the Sunak government to commit to more robust policies and that if re-elected, it does what a Conservative government should, namely control legal migration, stop illegal migration, reduce wasteful and inefficient government, cut taxes, boost the military and get out of the lives of citizens. Because if you want to be elected as a Conservative, to say the bleeding obvious, it helps to have governed as a Conservative. It is important to also point out that the next Labor government in Britain, like the Labor government we have here, will be the worst in British history. One of its first moves will be to give the vote to 16-year-olds in the hope of entrenching forever a Green left majority. Now just wait for votes for 16-year-olds, too young to drive a car, too young to drink alcohol, almost too young to be on social media. That's the debate at the moment. You just wait for that to become policy here in Australia. It's already policy for the Greens. And if Anthony Albanese needs to buy the support of the Greens, this is what he'll sell. Mark my words.